You never thought about it. Not really. Your body just worked. You slept and woke up. You ate and had energy. You had a cycle that showed up more or less when expected, did its thing, and left. You didn't track it. You didn't need to. It was just there. Reliable, invisible. Yours. You were 34. You ran 3 times a week. You stayed up late when you wanted to. You recovered from a bad week by the weekend. You didn't have a word for what your body felt like back then. The word is easy. You just didn't know it yet because you'd never felt the opposite. There was one Tuesday in October. Nothing dramatic. You woke up and felt off. Not sick. Not tired. Just slightly wrong in a way you couldn't point to. You drank more coffee. The feeling didn't leave. You went to bed early. The next morning it was gone. You forgot about it by Thursday. You shouldn't have. That Tuesday was the first sentence of a letter your body had been trying to write for years. You didn't read it. Most women don't. Because nobody tells you the letter is coming, or what it looks like when it starts.
It didn't happen all at once. That's the part that makes it so hard to catch. If your body had sent you one clear signal, one obvious, undeniable thing, you would have acted. But it didn't. It sent you 100 small things, spread across 18 months. You started needing an extra cup of coffee to feel like yourself. Then 2. Your sleep changed. Not dramatically. You still slept, but you started waking up at odd hours. 2 a.m., 3:30 a.m., for no reason you could name. You'd lie there for 20 minutes, 30, and then drift back. By morning, you weren't sure if you'd slept or just waited for the alarm. Your patience got shorter. Small things that used to slide off you started sticking. A tone in someone's voice. Traffic. A plan that changed last minute. You noticed yourself reacting and thinking, that's not like me. Except it was becoming like you. More and more. Your skin started doing something different. Your hair too. You bought new products. They helped a little. You stopped thinking about it. Your best friend mentioned she was going through something similar. You both laughed it off. Blamed it on your 30s. On stress. On everything that gets blamed on stress. That conversation could have changed everything if either of you had known what you were actually talking about. You didn't. So you laughed, ordered another drink, and kept going.
You are almost fine. That's the honest answer to how you are. Not unwell, not falling apart, just operating at 85% of yourself and quietly hoping nobody notices the other 15. You've developed workarounds. You don't call workarounds. You block the first hour of your calendar every day because that's when your brain is slowest. You keep a list of words on your phone. Not grocery lists. Actual words. Words you use in meetings. Words you know but sometimes can't access when you need them. You've started writing things down that you used to just remember. Nobody at work knows. You delivered a presentation last month that your director called exceptional. What she doesn't know is that you rehearsed it 4 times because you were afraid of losing your train of thought mid-sentence. That you wore a blazer in a warm room because you didn't want to explain the flushing. That you went to your car afterward and sat in silence for 10 minutes before you felt like yourself again. The gap between who you are at work and who you are in your car afterward is getting wider. You went to your doctor. She ran the standard panel. Thyroid, iron, vitamin D, everything within normal range. She mentioned that stress can cause a lot of these symptoms. You nodded. You've been nodding at that sentence for 11 months. At home that night, you sat with your daughter while she did homework. She asked you a question about something you talked about the week before. You couldn't remember the conversation.
She looked at you the way children look at you when something is wrong, but they don't have the words for it either. You changed the subject.
This is the year you stopped trusting it. Your body. The one you lived in for 36 years without thinking about it. The one that ran those 3 miles on Tuesday mornings and recovered by Thursday. The one that was just there. Just working. Just yours. It stopped feeling like yours. The heat started this year. Not a temperature, a weather system. It would arrive without warning. Your face, your chest, your back. 30 seconds of your body running a completely different program than the one you thought you were on. And then gone. Like it never happened. Except it did happen. And it happened in the grocery store, and at your son's school play, and in the middle of a sentence you were saying to your mother. You started planning around it like you'd plan around bad weather. You stopped wearing certain clothes, stopped sitting in certain seats, started timing yourself in rooms where you couldn't control the temperature. You made these adjustments the way you make all the adjustments, quietly, invisibly, without telling anyone what they were actually for. Your husband noticed something. He didn't ask directly. He asked sideways. Are you okay? Is something going on? Do you want to talk? You said you were tired. He accepted that. It was easier than the truth. And the truth was that you didn't fully have it yet. You went to a different doctor, a specialist. She sat with you for 40 minutes. She asked questions nobody had asked before. She said the words out loud. Perimenopause. You were 36 years old. You said, isn't that something that happens later? She said, it happens when it happens. And for a lot of women, it starts much earlier than anyone told them. You drove home slowly, parked in the driveway, sat there. You weren't relieved. You weren't devastated. You were just finally holding the right word for something that had been nameless for 2 years. You start over. Not your life, your understanding of your body. Same body, new reading of it. You learn things that make you quietly furious. You learn that the symptoms you've been experiencing for 2 years, the sleep disruption, the brain fog, the temperature swings, the mood shifts, the cycle changes, are not separate problems. They're one system fluctuating. One thing affecting everything else, the way a river affects every field it runs through. You learn that most of the research on hormones was done on men, that the normal range on your blood work was built from data that doesn't include the transition your body is actually in, that the 15-minute appointment model was not designed to catch what you have. That sentence sits in your chest for a long time. You find a community online. Women your age, women older, women who went through this 10 years ago and came back to leave breadcrumbs for the ones still finding their way. You read their stories at 11 p.m. with the lamp on while your family sleeps. One woman wrote, I thought I was becoming someone worse. I was just becoming someone different. You save that. You make an appointment with the specialist again. This time you bring a list. 2 pages. Symptoms, patterns, dates, questions. She looks at you differently than the first visit. You're not a patient waiting to be told what's happening. You're a woman who did her homework and came to talk about options. That shift, from passenger to participant, is the first thing that actually helps. You are carrying everything this year. Work that expanded when you should have contracted, a parent whose health started declining, a marriage that needed tending at the exact moment you had nothing left to give it, children who needed the version of you that existed 3 years ago, before the fog. before the exhaustion that doesn't respond to sleep. You give everyone the best version available. It's just not the version they remember. There's a photo from a family trip this year. Everyone is smiling. You're smiling too. What the photo doesn't show is that you spent the morning of that day in the bathroom with the door locked for 15 minutes because you needed to not be needed. That you timed the heat flashes against the itinerary. That you brought 3 different layers because you couldn't predict what your body was going to do hour to hour. The photo is beautiful. You are exhausted in every pixel of it. Your mother called one evening. She mentioned offhand that she had a hard time in her late 30s, that she remembered feeling like she was disappearing. You asked her why she'd never told you. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I didn't think it was something you talked about. I thought everyone just got through it." You stay on the phone longer than you planned. After you hang up, you sit with the particular grief of realizing that the information you needed was always one generation away, held in silence by the woman who loved you most. You decide something. You are not passing this silence on. It didn't end. Let's be clear about that. It didn't end the way a cold ends, or the way a hard year ends on December 31st. There was no morning when you woke up and the transition was over, and you were handed back to yourself, unchanged, with an apology and an explanation. It changed shape. The worst of the unpredictability settled. Your body started giving you more warning, more pattern, more room to work with. You learned to read it the way you learn to read a difficult person. Not perfectly, not always right, but well enough to not be blindsided as often. You sleep better. Not perfectly. Better. You have more words for more things now. You can describe what's happening in your body to a doctor in a way that gets you taken seriously. You know which symptoms need attention, and which ones just need water and rest and time. That knowledge took years to build. Nobody gave it to you. You assembled it yourself, from specialists and forums and books and the 11 p.m. reading sessions, and the conversations you finally started having with women your age. Your daughter is 12 now. She came to you last month with questions about her own body changing. You sat with her for 2 hours. You told her things your mother never told you, things her teachers won't tell her, things that would have saved you years of confusion if someone had said them out loud when you were young. She listened like she was being trusted with something real, because she was. Nobody gives you a certificate. No doctor calls to say, you made it through the hardest part. No morning arrives with a ribbon on it. The biology just shifts, slowly and without ceremony. And you shift with it. And at some point, you look back and realize you have been surviving your own biology for 5 years, without a map, without warning, and mostly without credit. You are still here. The woman in the mirror is not the woman from the photo at 34. She is not supposed to be. She has been somewhere that woman hadn't been yet. She knows things about endurance and adaptation, and the particular strength it takes to keep showing up, keep working, keep loving people well, while your own body is running a parallel emergency that no one around you can see. That is not a small thing. Last week, a colleague pulled you aside after a meeting. She's 35. She said she's been feeling strange lately. Not sick, not depressed, just off. That she went to the doctor and everything came back normal. That she left with a referral she didn't ask for, and the sense that nobody was listening. You recognized every word. You said, "I know exactly what you mean. Come have coffee with me." You talked for an hour. You gave her the name of your specialist. You told her the questions to ask, the tests to request, The language that gets you taken seriously in a room where you might otherwise be dismissed. You told her it's going to be confusing for a while, and that confusing is not the same as permanent. She looked at you the way you looked at that woman in the forum 4 years ago, like someone had finally handed her a flashlight. This is what surviving looks like. Not a finish line, not a transformation, not a version of yourself that has it all figured out. Just a woman who came through something real and turned around to make sure the woman behind her doesn't have to find her way in the dark. 5 years inside a biology that never asked your permission.